Hello group, welcome to vlog 4. Holly, I want to start out by saying you did a great job at explaining each of the models that we were studying this week, and I thought that you asked some very insightful questions, and I hope that I'm able to answer them in the way that you expected and maybe with the information that you expect to hear from us. I'll agree with Tyler and say that 10 minutes is a little hard to get through, but you had a lot of material to cover as well, so I think you did a great job. Thank you for your prompt. Starting out with the athletics discussion, which seems to be what everybody was kind of talking about this week. They're called student athletes, and they're called student athletes for a reason. They should be a student first and an athlete second. So I think that we definitely need to look at the preferential treatment that is given to athletes. I think we need to look at whether or not what we're doing for them is serving them. I know here at VSU, when I have athletic GAs, they get shepherded into one program or another, and it is a certain program that they're shepherded toward, and it may or may not line up with their interests, which I think is completely out of whack with what we're supposed to be doing and how we're supposed to be serving them with student services. In terms of undergrad athletes, I think that they're not getting some of the educational opportunities that maybe they should be. They spend a lot more time playing sports and doing those sorts of activities, and a lot less time in what I would call scholarly activity, and that's just an assumption based on the amount of time that they're spending in doing athletic type events. As far as the models, I identified mostly with the administrative model and certainly the bureaucratic aspects of that. I don't think that's VSU as a whole, but I think my department especially lends itself to that. Since I'm in admissions and I deal with graduate assistants, these are very bureaucratic processes. Admissions requires certain forms of documentation to prove that you meet the requirements. We send emails to explain what you're missing and what you should be turning in. And there are some red tape aspects of what we do. For example, we don't send files to the department until they're completely finished, and that creates some red tape for students because if they don't get things in on time, their files aren't being evaluated, and they're waiting longer for decisions. So I definitely identified with the red tape aspect of the bureaucratic administrative model. Also with assistantships, it's the same way. If they don't get all their paperwork in, the payroll is not processed like it should be. And I think in all offices on campus, there's going to be some kind of red tape, financial aid especially because they're dealing with the federal government. These are services that students are not going to be able to get away from the red tape aspect. In terms of a model that I think is appropriate for students, I see benefits from the collegial and collaborative model. Any type of interaction that the students can have with their professors that is more personal or personable, either way you want to look at that. Any interaction they can have outside of the classroom where they are engaged with the professional educator is of benefit. Well, I guess I can't say any. Certain situations would not be beneficial, obviously, but those would be inappropriate as well. So any appropriate interaction outside the classroom that leads to, an educational outcome is certainly beneficial. Also, networking with those professionals so that after they get finished with a degree program, finished with their preparation, they also have individuals with whom they're networked for jobs, for recommendation letters, for advice on the field, because most of your professors I think in your practitioner fields have been practitioners, for instance, education professors, public administration professors. They've been practitioners within their field. I think that may be a gross generalization. So that collegial model allows the student to have some interaction with professionals from that field. So that's pretty much my take on it. It was dense reading. It was a little tough for me this week. But, I got through it. And let me apologize for the third Avatar post, but I am acutely uncomfortable on camera, and I feel like I do a better blog this way. I'm not as self-conscious and that kind of thing. So I'm sorry if it's boring. I'll try to do something different next time. But have a good week.